The initial MVP for Poppylist was that quiz.
And so quiz took off.
Quiz
Yes,
took off.
It went viral.
It went viral. I put it
Okay.
in every possible Facebook group you could imagine before I got kicked out. I sent it to every single person I know, and I asked those people to send it to 3 or 5 people they know.
Yes.
And it just sort of took off like wildfire. And I was like, oh, okay, I think I have something here. And I just remember crying hysterically over something so small, but it wasn't small. Like it was like my body's inability to do something that seemed so simple. And that was like another specific thing where I just felt like nothing I did, nothing I read, no stories that were shared with me prepared me for what I was experiencing. So in the beginning, we didn't have really a business model. We didn't know how we were going to make money.
Yeah.
I was really only committed at that time to making sure we were helping people prepare just like a little bit better to become mom or dad. I think the desire to want to create something bigger than myself, and also really knowing like someone's going to do this. I really believe it can be me. And then coupled with like, I'm just not going to quit. And I quite frankly feel like I can't be outworked. And so here I am, like, and I don't know what the future holds, but I don't feel close to being finished.
Sarah, I'm so excited to have you here. We met each other, over a year ago, and I've been so fortunate to be able to hear about your journey from a personal founder perspective, from building a company, and I'm really excited to dive into this story with you.
Well, thank you. I'm honored to be here, and I'm so excited to have this conversation.
Let's talk about what sparked and what spurred the birthing of Poppylist, a baby registry. And I think it's such an interesting model because the baby registries have been around for a long time. And I think it's so interesting to hear what sparked your baby registry and how that has evolved.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think like most founders, you go through something that you find a little frustrating and you wonder like, why isn't this a little simpler? So that was definitely my experience when I was pregnant with Amelia, who is going to be 7 in May. So this was back in 2018 when I was building my first baby registry. I used Babylist and I think Amazon. I think I had 2 registries. And I found the whole experience just so cumbersome and frustrating and overwhelming. I was the first of my sisters and friends to have a baby.
Yeah.
And so you just don't know what you don't know. The first thing I did, this isn't exactly about the registry, but in ways it is, because there's so much information, like overload online, I just sort of like stopped researching. I went to the library and bought a book on like the complete organic pregnancy. So initially I was like, okay, I'm so overwhelmed with the information online. I'm just going to go to my local library and see if I can start somewhere. So that was really for me personally. But as I continued to like dive in deeper and research products for my registry, one, the research is totally overwhelming, as most parents would agree with. But really what sparked the idea for Poppylist is once my baby registry was built and I started sharing it with friends and family, I accidentally bought a mini crib. So I assembled this crib with my husband, Scott. I sent a picture to my older sister and her response is, and I actually still have the screenshot of our text exchange. Her response is, that looks like a dog bed for Tank. And Tank was the Boston Terrier we had growing up. And so I responded like, what do you mean? She goes, send me the dimensions of that crib. So I sent her the dimensions and she goes, Sarah, you bought a mini crib. Well, for good reason. You can't return nursery items once they've been, assembled in the United States for safety. Thank goodness. But that was just like one small example of something that I didn't register for that I ended up getting. And I used it anyway, but that wasn't really the point. The point was I had spent 30, 40 hours researching these products and I thought I had what I needed. And that was the first of many specific examples where I didn't.
Yeah.
So that was really sort of like the birth story behind Poppylist.
And so you were doing research as a first-time mom, and you were looking at all the different products you needed. And I feel like as moms, we've all been there, and overwhelmed getting products that wasn't even on your registry. So I guess like what was the impetus or the conviction behind, okay, I'm so frustrated, and yet you're also a mom, which is a whole new phase and identity. How did that then move into, I'm actually going to build this into a business and actually be serious about it?
Yeah, of course. So I started just to tinker on the idea before Amelia was even born. Just like, okay, if I could make it a little bit better, would I want to? And like, what would I change? Yeah. And then she was born. And I remember coming from the home from the hospital, and I laid her like on the floor in her nursery, and nothing I had fit her. I did not know that newborn was a size. I just thought that the sizing started from 1 to 3 months, like, or 0 to 3 months, right? That's like the first size. I had no idea that newborn was a size.
Yeah.
So there's like another specific reason. And I'm like hysterical. My hormones all over the place. I have no clothes that fit my baby. And the smallest thing can make you feel like you are not equipped to be a parent. Even something as silly as like not having newborn clothes.
Yeah.
So that was like one thing. And then I remember, you know, I'm probably 2 days postpartum at home. So really 4 or 5 days postpartum since I spent the first few days in the hospital. So I'm at home, I think it's day 2. And I remember going to the restroom alone. But my body was still recovering and I hurt so bad that I was actually like out of toilet paper. And I was going to reach back to grab the toilet paper that was behind me and I couldn't reach it. Like everything hurt. And I just remember crying hysterically over something so small, but it wasn't small. Like it was like my body's inability to do something that seemed so simple. And that was like another specific thing where I just felt like nothing I did, nothing I read, no stories that were shared with me prepared me for what I was experiencing. All the way from newborn clothes to my postpartum experience,
Okay.
so I just felt so frustrated and like deeply unprepared. And I think that's where my conviction really stemmed from. Like, okay, if I can create something that helps one parent prepare just a fraction better,
Okay.
I will have done something meaningful. So that was really, I think, like there were so many small things like that that I think really built up this conviction and this idea and belief that I could build a better baby registry for expecting parents.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So you went conviction, frustration,
Yes.
belief in yourself, or
Mhm.
confidence in yourself that I can do this better. So, how did you go about this and connecting or meeting with your co
Mhm.
founder? I'm curious as to the execution because for for many women who also just became a mom for the first time, I mean, frankly, there would be such a feeling of overwhelm.
Yeah. Yes. Of
And
course.
so I just think, one of the things I've always found incredible about your story and your journey is like you did it discovering this path and this process as a mom, which we're already dealing with so many emotions.
Right.
So I'm curious as to how that evolved and then also figuring out and defining the business model that works for you. But I guess
Mhm.
even before that,
Yes.
how did you go about figuring out how to make it an easier registry process?
Yeah.
Okay.
So even before that, here's what I did.
Yeah.
So I quit my job in tech about 6 months after maternity leave because I thought I would take some time off to like mentally and physically recover from postpartum. And that's just not my nature. So 2 weeks
I
later,
can get that
yeah.
about you.
2 weeks later, I was enrolled at the Entrepreneur Center of Austin.
Okay.
It was a 1 week course on the book, The Lean Startup Method. Like that was my very first introduction to how does someone start a company.
Huh.
And so I really liked this model because I was able to outline sort of like, what could my MVP be? What does my company do? How do we help? What are the tools I need to get like my initial product out to the world? So I started researching and then I started like following everyone that was in this founder space on Twitter.
Okay.
Um,
Well,
so I did that. And then I started to come up with this idea like, okay, I needed a place, like a starting place when I was building my baby registry. So what does Poppylist actually look like? Okay, I think what it looks like initially is let me create a quiz
mm,
that is free and it was 10 questions. And I think this is really important because you can be inspired by other people's businesses and ideas and you shouldn't feel like you're copying them. You can just be inspired by what someone did and sort of make it your own. So I remember I was a customer of Care of. Do you remember that vitamin company?
yes,
And
yes,
they had
yes, yes.
such an extensive quiz.
Yes.
So you took this quiz and really it was like their lead magnet. And then you saw a lot of other companies do something similar.
Yes.
But I loved their quiz because at the end, my results were like my personalized vitamin packet.
That's right. That's
So I
right.
loved that experience. I loved how personal it felt. And then I was researching, personalized quizzes. And then I came across this article that was published on a website called Typeform, which
Okay.
is a
Yeah.
platform where you can go
Yes.
build a quiz. And it was
Right.
this article on a company called Bearded Brothers, and they are
Okay.
actually an Austin company.
Oh, I'm
So
not
you could
familiar.
take this quiz on this beard website, and it tells you what beard product you need to like style your beard.
Interesting. Okay.
And they gave you they wrote out in this blog exactly what they did on Typeform, how they built their algorithms. And I was so inspired by how much they shared that I
Mm,
was like, okay, let me see if I can design something that has like the elements of what I love from Care of with sort of this information I've just gained from the Bearded Brothers blog.
okay.
So I built this quiz on Typeform. That was the very first thing I did for Poppylist. It was a free 10-question quiz. And based on your answers, I would tell you your parent type. So, Destiny, you could have been the minimalist, the practical, the tech savvy, the environmentalist, or the cost conscious.
Ooh, I like
Yeah, and it
that.
was free. It was 10 questions. And based on your answers, I said, all right, Destiny, you're the minimalist mom. Here are the 40 products you need for your registry. If you start anywhere, start here. And that was
Okay.
it.
Okay.
And that was really like the initial MVP for Poppylist was that quiz.
And so quiz took off.
Quiz took
Yes.
off.
It went viral.
It went viral. I put it in
Okay.
every possible Facebook group you could imagine before I got kicked out. I sent it to every single person I know, and I asked those people to send it to 3 or 5 people they know.
Yes.
And it just sort of took off like wildfire. And I was like, oh, okay, I think I have something here. So that
Yeah.
was like the very initial idea and the first MVP, if you'd even call it that today,
Yes.
of Poppylist.
And so how many people ended up taking the quiz in that period of going viral?
Almost 6,000.
Wow.
Yes.
Without any paid efforts,
Zero.
all organic, community driven.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So I launched that on Product Hunt.
Ah.
So this is really the founder
okay.
story, which you had
Yes.
asked. So Product Hunt, for those listening, is a website where a lot of like SaaS founders go to launch their initial product for like initial feedback or maybe even some of their first customers.
Yeah.
And my co-founder at the time, he and his wife Sonia were pregnant with their first, and he saw the launch for Populous on Product Hunt, and he emailed me saying, "Hey Sarah, I saw, blah 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 about Populist. I'm experiencing the same pain points you're trying to solve. Do you want to chat? If not, I'm gonna go do my own thing." And so I'm looking this guy up on LinkedIn, and I'm like, no way does this Ivy League, ex-Google, ex-Bleacher Report want to talk to me. And my husband's like, well, first of all, like, give yourself more credit.
Sure.
But yes, he seems like a real person. You should absolutely email him back. So thank goodness I did. And that's how I met my co-founder, was on Product Hunt.
Oh, wow.
And that was it'll be 5 years ago this coming June. June 29th, 2026 will be 5 years since we've been co-founders.
Wow. And he's based out of where?
He's in San Francisco.
Okay, got it. I don't think I knew this about about how you two met.
Yes, I know. It's
Wow.
it's like really a match made in heaven for like as far as
Yeah.
founders are concerned. And I've never heard a similar story. So I just feel very lucky and very grateful.
Yes.
Mhm.
And so funny that it's on Product Hunt.
Yeah.
I'm familiar and yeah, love that.
And again, that was like something I saw someone tweet about. So I was like, I guess this is where I have to launch Populist. Like I didn't really know anything about it.
Yes,
So-
yes. Ryan Hoover was the founder of
Yeah,
yes,
you're right.
Yes, that's right. So quiz 6,000 opt-ins users. So now you have data also around the different parenting types or identities.
Right.
What happened next?
So here's what happened next. Tamiz comes on as my co-founder, and we've got all these people taking the quiz. And what I love about Tamiz is he doesn't make decisions unless there's like a trend in terms of like what to launch next, what problems to solve first. If it's one person that's upset about something out of 100,
Yeah.
we will do our best to address it, but we're probably not going to change the product because of it. But once there's a pattern and a trend, then that's when he'll start to build, which he's so process driven and data driven. I'm more emotional. So we're a really good balance in that way. So here's what happened. People started asking, well, what am I supposed to do with these products? Like,
Oh.
can't I just start my registry with you? Like, what am I supposed to do with this downloadable PDF? Now that I have it, I'd like to continue the journey with you.
Oh, because it was just telling them
Exactly.
what to buy.
All we gave them was
I
like a
see.
downloadable PDF of the 40
see.
products. So I basically
Okay.
like, here's what you should register for, go add it to your registry. But we didn't have a registry at the time.
I see. Okay.
And what's funny is we didn't actually like, I'm not sure if this is backwards in terms of like a founder's story, but when I was building Poppylist, I didn't really have like baby registry as like the end game. I just really wanted a place where people could like organize their stuff and make, do checklists and just make sure they have what they need, whether that was like postpartum, physical products, whatever. And so the next step of Populist is once you had that downloadable PDF, you could like log into your dashboard and basically stay organized.
Okay.
So now you have all your products on this PDF. You can check off what you've got and what you haven't. It's like your own personal little dashboard,
Sure.
if you will. I don't
Okay.
even really know what to describe it beyond that.
Yeah.
And then the next iteration is people are saying, well, can't I just start my registry with you?
Makes sense.
So then enough people are asking the same question. And so really the third MVP is the Poppylist Baby Registry, which went to market in January 2022.
Got it. Okay.
Yes.
So 2022. Okay. Got
Yeah.
it. And then how did you figure out how to monetize in terms of, was it all affiliates with the product referrals, or I'm very interested in that business model breakdown.
Yes. So in the beginning, we didn't have really a business model. We didn't know how we were going to make money.
Yeah.
I was really only committed at that time to making sure we were helping people prepare just like a little bit better to become mom or dad. So in the beginning, when we launched the registry in January 2022, our only path to monetization then was affiliate links.
Okay.
So we are fulfilling people's baby registry items with affiliate links, essentially. So one of the things that I think is important to know is when someone buys you a gift off your Poppylist baby registry, they're technically just securing it for you. So let's say your aunt buys you the high chair.
Yes.
Your aunt's technically just securing it for you. We are holding your aunt's money in a Stripe account. You decide when and where you want that high chair delivered. So if you are in New York City in a high rise and you don't have a lot of storage, you decide what gifts you want to use and when. So Poppylist actually does all the fulfillment. So when you're ready to have that item sent, you initiate delivery inside your registry. And then we have a team that actually goes and fulfills it right then and there. So that's why we were using affiliate links, because we're the ones actually making the purchases.
That makes sense. Okay.
So in the beginning, it was just affiliate links. And we realized, well, that is not going to be how we support ourselves or this company, because we don't want to just be like this big affiliate conglomerate.
Sure.
So that's sort of how we're making money the first year. And then the second year, 2.5, we decided, okay, this is such a white glove experience for people. If your high chair sells out, you're going to get a text from one of our customer service reps that says, hey, Destiny, the high chair sold out. Would you like this color instead, or would you like another option? So we are really helping you try to get the right thing, even if it's not what you initially registered for.
Yeah.
And we are always supporting you in these types of decisions and fulfillment. So it's a really high touch experience when you are a Poppylist customer that we decided there should be a service fee for Poppylist.
Okay.
So now we are charging a 7% service fee to the gift giver. There's never any cost burden on the registrant.
Got it.
So now we're about 2.5 years in, and every gift that's purchased off a Poppylist registry, the gift giver is charged a 7% transaction fee.
Got it. Okay.
So that is now, 2.5, 3 years in, that's now how we're making money.
Yes.
But now we're growing and scaling, 4.5, 5 years in, and partners and brands in the industry are taking notice. And there's not a lot of space to play in this industry. So now we are having sponsors and paid partnerships with brands in the industry. And then finally, we launched our e-commerce store. So now we are sort of like this wholesale retail partner. So if you want to shop for a first birthday on Poppylist.com, you can do that now.
So tell me how the experience works between someone being registered on Poppylist versus a gift giver, because they both have to be on the platform. So usually who's generating that initial connection? Is it someone finding Poppylist, they start their registry, or is it the gift giver finding Poppylist and they're initiating that?
Initially, it's the registrant.
Okay.
However, that is like the whole flywheel, right? Because for every one Poppylist registry, we have about on average 53 gift givers.
Right.
And let's say 90% of them have a good experience. Referrals is our second highest customer acquisition channel. So now those people purchasing gifts off your registry are going to tell someone about Poppylist in theory.
Yes.
So it's like the classic question, like the chicken or the egg, like which one has come first?
Exactly.
And, it's funny because I don't think I can have either one without the other.
Okay.
It definitely probably starts with the registrant.
Okay.
Because we need them to build their registry so that someone knows about it.
Yes.
And then it's the gift giver for sure.
So you mentioned referrals being the second customer acquisition channel. if we can geek out for a bit,
Yeah, of
what are the
course.
primary acquisition channels?
Yes.
And yeah, let's start there.
About 6 months ago, it was not just, but the number one was organic search and SEO. So
Oh,
before we even launched the registry platform, we were writing content.
smart.
Yes, Tamiz was like obsessed with SEO. I didn't even know what this meant like 6 years ago. All I knew is he wanted me writing articles on the
Oh.
top gifts to buy someone postpartum or the top 5 high chairs. I mean, we were writing so much content before we
Wow.
even had the registry platform.
And this was before AI. I can only
Way before
imagine.
I mean, we
Okay.
are pumping out so much content. In some of those articles today we wrote 4 or 5 years ago are still our top performing articles. Like, what clothes do you need for a newborn? That's like one of our highest performing articles, and that was written 4.5 years ago.
How many pieces of content were you pumping out, let's say, on a monthly basis back then?
On a monthly basis, oh my gosh,
Or even weekly?
probably 50 articles.
Wow.
I mean, it was like
Wow.
nonstop. I kind of felt like that was like my only job.
That has to be your
It
only
was
job.
so much.
Oh my goodness. I see.
It was
And
so
so how
much
much
content.
content are you pumping out now? I'm curious.
Now we probably do 2 articles a week,
Okay.
which still seems like a lot.
Sure.
And then about a year and a half ago, we did a lot of webinars, which was so much fun. But as you know, I mean, all this stuff is time consuming,
Yes,
and it's unless you have a team dedicated to this sort of like media hub, it's hard to continue.
Yes.
But articles seem like the easiest thing for us to get out to the world. So that's what we
Ah.
focus on for right now.
Got it.
Mhm.
Okay. So circling back
Yes.
up until 6 months ago, it
Yes.
was
Organic search,
yes.
SEO.
Okay.
But then we started running paid ads for the first time in our company history
Oh.
about in like end of Q3, Q4 of 2025.
Okay.
So now that's number 1.
Love
Yes.
it.
And then referrals is still number 2.
Okay.
Social, Instagram and TikTok are 3 and 4. And then Reddit is 5. Yes.
Wow. I
Yep.
love that.
Yeah, me too. That's also free.
And so how much would you say you've grown ever since you started running paid ads? Or because I guess there's a couple of thoughts going through my head is you can grow top line, but maybe profitability declines. I'm just kind of curious what that looks like and just based on what you're able to share.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, we have grown almost I think the last time I checked, it was like, I might have to fact check myself after this podcast, but we were up last month, like 13% month over month growth. And
Wow.
that's because of paid ads. But our paid ads are our highest grossing customer. So they actually are the ones that are creating the registries with like the highest revenue. And the highest revenue generating customer is the ones that find us on Google Ads.
Probably because of a timing.
Yeah, it must be.
Yes. Okay, that makes sense.
Yep.
That's so exciting.
Yeah, it is very
Oh
cool.
my goodness.
And to me, I'll give him credit. He runs our entire paid ad. He used to do that at Google, so he knows what he's doing. Thank goodness. Yes.
Okay, so you've seen tremendous growth since paid ads. Maybe we can talk about, and I only have this context because we have connected and talked about this, but you've been running Poppylist, bootstrapped, no outside, no venture capital.
That's right.
Maybe we can kind of nudge on that a bit in terms of thinking around that, if that has evolved, because I think that'd be interesting for the founders who are listening. Some have raised, some are looking to raise. Yeah.
Okay. So for the last 5.5 years, we haven't taken a single dime from friends and family, investors, angels, zero, completely bootstrapped.
Wow.
Other than the capital myself and Tamiz have invested.
Okay. Got it.
Which is just our own personal money.
And when did you become profitable?
We became profitable about 1.5 years ago.
Wow. Impressive.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Yes. Thank you very much.
Okay. What was the thinking around not wanting to raise? Maybe you didn't need to raise, or maybe it was just managing the pace of growth.
Yeah, those are great questions. So a few reasons why we have chosen not to raise. My co-founder came from a previous like Series A startup. So he has the inside scoop really on like what this life looks like. And it would be his preference, and it has been for the first several years, not to raise, just because, listen, when I started Poppylist, I had a newborn baby. He and his wife were pregnant. And since then I've had a second, and he has had 2 more. So Tamiz has 3 children and I have 2. And I think he really understood sort of like the life and scrutiny and stress and pressure it puts you under when you are considering a raise, and when you have investors who are hopefully helpful in trying to steer your company in the right direction. I'm not sure that has always been his case. And so his preference would be, hey, if we can stay bootstrapped, let's.
Yeah.
Tamiz is also a technical co-founder. He
Mm.
has built the entire product.
Yeah.
So for those reasons, we haven't needed the investment that a technical company or a SaaS company might need
Sure.
to build their product and their infrastructure, because Tamiz is self-taught and he's basically an engineer and full stack developer.
Yeah.
So he has built all of Poppylist and has saved us, like I can
Yes.
only imagine that
Yes.
number. And so for those reasons, we've chosen not to raise.
Okay.
It's funny though, you asked the question, because right now we're actually having the conversation. Well, do we?
Okay.
We are both done growing our families,
Mm.
and we are thinking, like, is now the time to throw some gasoline on these growth levers? Like,
Mm.
we are growing so fast.
Yeah.
The customer demands are hard to keep up with, including what is being asked of us from partners.
Mm.
People are not having great experiences with our competitors, and they are
Okay.
looking at us to sort of solve some of their problems.
Mm.
And there's this, I kind of am feeling in a way I haven't felt before. Like, I've got some people on my heels, and not necessarily like smaller companies up and coming, but like it kind of feels like now or never in a strange
Interesting.
way is
That's
sort of like what I'm
interesting.
wrestling with. Like, if we had the capital to accelerate the Google ads that are working, some
Yeah.
of the levers that we're seeing huge success with, the partnership and sponsorship requests from the brands in the industry who are literally asking us, we want to spend money with you. How? And I don't want to drop the ball. Like, it is a dream come true, but there are days where I'm like, I don't know if we can execute in a way that they want, because of we don't have that big of a team.
Yeah.
The infrastructure, the processes and systems aren't in place for some of the stuff we are being asked to do. So it kind of feels like, is now the time to raise? And it's a big question, and
Yes.
one I don't really know the answer to yet.
Yeah.
However, we don't need the money. It would just really accelerate what we're doing. And so I feel like we're in a really unique position to consider raising, even though, like, we don't need it to stay alive, which feels
Right.
really, really good.
Yes. That is very exciting.
Yes, thank you.
And an interesting tension that you named in terms of feeling like you're in this moment, right? Where it could grow a lot
Right,
faster.
right,
It could accelerate.
right,
The need is there.
right.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow.
So I don't know if this is like what people describe, like it's like the hockey stick moment, but for like a different reason. Like I don't know how to, I don't know. It's just like such a strange, and listen, this is my first startup, so I don't always get the terminology and nomenclature right, but
Yeah.
it feels really, like I said, it kind of just feels like now or never. And if we choose
Yeah.
not to raise, we'll be okay. We'll just
Yeah.
go slower. But if we choose to raise, the next 3 years will be crazy, but in a good way, hopefully.
Sure. Right. Right. And so, in your view, and you described the different ways of monetizing now as Populist has evolved, but what would you say is the core value prop that you have over your competitors? Is it the ease, the simplicity? Is it because they're so big, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great question. Our competitors see themselves as a media company. We are absolutely like a parent first registry company.
Mm.
And some of the things that make us very, very different is, one, we have created a baby registry that gives total agency to parents. I cannot predict to know their circumstance, and honestly, neither can they.
Mm.
Pregnancy is very right. It is surprising, and there are things that can happen that you can't predict.
Right.
And because Poppylist offers delayed delivery, you can exchange a gift for cash.
Mm.
You can invite your friends and family directly inside your account to make product recommendations. Because we've designed this very simple, flexible platform,
Mm.
it's so special and people love it. Like, for example, let's say we have a customer who is pregnant,
Yeah.
and all of her friends and family have bought her gifts off her Populous baby registry, but she hasn't redeemed them yet. She hasn't had them shipped to her home yet.
Okay.
God forbid she has a pregnancy loss.
Right.
We've had customers who have experienced loss.
Mm.
Well, guess what? She doesn't have to have all those things sent to her home. She can opt for the cash equivalent instead.
Mm.
If she does not want those things anymore, which our customers do not, they can say,
Right.
okay, forget it. I'm just going to get the cash instead in the equivalent of the gifts that were purchased for me.
Wow.
Well, you're a military family and you're moving and you actually don't have a home address yet. You're in between deployments or whatever the case is. Great. We'll hold your stuff until you're ready to have it shipped.
Yeah.
So we have a baby registry that just meets parents where they are.
Yeah.
And on the flip side, we've made it so simple for gift givers to buy you items. They start and finish on a Poppylist. They're never redirected to shop. And so we've just removed all of the cumbersome steps for the gift giver. So we've really designed this simple registry for both parties. And that is very different and very special about Poppylist.
Wow. I wish I was aware and using Populous when I was going through. Well, with Ethan, my toddler, we didn't, I don't know, we just kind of just borrowed so many things. But with Jacob, my 9-year-old, that would have been so valuable because first time parent, first time mom, I was so overwhelmed. And I just kind of like shut down around it because you
Right.
just don't know where to start, what to buy. And you're just
Right.
on like Amazon. Then he came 4 weeks early and it's like, now what?
Exactly.
Yes. So I
Exactly.
get that.
Yes.
Now, in terms of access to product needs and product categories, would you say is as accessible or as wide ranging as Amazon or
Not our online shop, but for
Okay.
the baby registry, you can add any online product or service from any online store to your Populous baby registry. Yeah, so
Okay.
it's universal,
Got it.
which is really
Okay.
like table stakes
Got
for
it.
a baby registry platform. So you could add any Amazon product to your Populous baby registry.
Yeah.
You could add any item from your favorite local boutique store to your Populous registry. You can add gift cards. You
Got
can
it.
add dog walking services,
I
lactation
see.
consultant services. So you can add anything to your Populous registry.
Even though it's all managed within the Populous
Correct.
platform. Wow.
Yes.
Incredible.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, I love that.
Yes.
Okay. That's a huge value
Yes,
add.
huge. Mhm.
So maybe kind of circling back, you mentioned your first startup, so
Mhm.
first time founder.
Mhm.
If you had to share, like, what would you say has been your most unexpected lessons or learnings along the way? And I mean, you clearly have, to me, you look like you're wired to be a founder,
Thank you.
but maybe you feel differently.
You know, I do feel wired to be in this role
Okay.
for sure. I think my nature, I played Division 1 soccer my whole life. I played for 17 years, all 4 years in college. And then you become a mom and all of a sudden you feel like you can do anything and you are empowered in a way you weren't before.
Yeah.
And so my nature is just not to quit. I remember my sophomore year of college, they call it the sophomore slump. I was so over playing soccer. I hated it. Me and my coach were just constantly butting heads. But I just sort of have this, I don't know, innate trait, I guess, where like I really refuse to quit. I also have a little bit of like an ego and I just don't want to be seen as someone who like doesn't follow through
Yeah.
with what they've said they were going to do. And so I stuck it out and I think had I quit it would have been the biggest regret of my life, wondering what would have my college experience looked like. My junior and senior year we went to the NCAA tournament twice. And so I would have missed all of that.
Yeah.
And I think for Populist it's similar. I really understand in a way that I hadn't before that like consistency compounds. We've just been so scrappy doing the same thing over and over and over again. And at times it feels mundane and boring, but it works. The TikTok videos, the 30-day series I have to film myself doing, the articles that feel boring to write, even though they're important because there's going to be a fresh set of eyes who reads it. Like, I think the desire to want to create something bigger than myself and also really knowing like someone's going to do this. I really believe it can be me. And then coupled with like, I'm just not going to quit. And I quite frankly feel like I can't be outworked. And so here I am like, and I don't know what the future holds, but I don't feel close to being finished.
Wow. Well
Yeah.
said. Consistency compounds. Can you tell my 9-year-old that when
No,
he's
I
playing
know.
soccer and
I know these
basketball?
life skills we also need to pass to our children. Yes.
Absolutely. Maybe kind of before we go into the vision of what you're building, what's next, even if you don't know exactly what
Yeah.
that's going to look like. So your customer journey, you are capturing them at a very specific moment in time. So how long are your customers typically using Populous for? Do you find that they're then using it for if they have other babies, Or is it then just more of a referral engine for their network of other moms who are now having babies? Like, I'm curious what that looks like.
Yep, it's a really small window where we capture these expecting families. Typically, we capture some when they are curious, when they've just found out they're pregnant,
Okay.
around 6 to 8 weeks.
Mm,
They might even create an account, but at this point, they're doing just some registry research.
yeah.
And then they will start envisioning themselves as mom and dad
Okay.
around the 12, 13-week period. So, right when they around the first trimester, when the first trimester ends, when they feel confident that this hopefully is going to be a viable pregnancy, then they start adding products to their baby registry. So we capture them really early, and
Yeah.
then they'll send their registry out at the end of their second trimester when they're getting ready to have their baby shower or sprinkle.
Okay.
So we do capture them in some way for their entire pregnancy.
Sure.
But then you're right, it ends there. We are
Right.
starting to see some customers come back for the second time, which is
Okay.
very cool. I don't think we've had any third-time parents yet, like the
Okay.
same person be, pregnant or, having a
Yes.
third child. But we're starting to see people turn their Poppylist baby registries into their first birthday wish lists.
Oh,
So, when you think about the future of Poppylist, where this can go, it does feel like there is an obvious route here in the future for evolving it, not just from baby registries, but really like different lists that people make for themselves and their families.
yes. Yes.
When my friends text me saying, "Oh my gosh, my mom's asking me for an Amazon wish list. Can I just send her a Poppy List one?"
Right.
Well, technically you can, but it's not
Sure.
going to look like what you want it to for like a first or second birthday,
Yes.
but it will certainly evolve. But to answer your question specifically, we really only capture the expecting family probably for 30 weeks
Mhm.
total. And
Mhm.
then we hope they'll come back to maybe purchase a gift in the shop or whatever that looks like. But the life cycle, the customer life cycle is not as long as I
Sure.
would like it to be.
Mm.
But there's so much we can do knowing their
Yes.
due dates and potentially their delivery dates if they were
Right.
to come back and let us know. And so there's just so much we can do as the company evolves, having that type of data. And then, like I said, if there's a trend and people are turning their baby registry into birthday lists,
Yes.
that opens up a
Yes.
whole new world for us.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
And then that just triggered. So Populous is a name that can hold that, especially if we're going to different list
You're right. You're
categories.
right. And I got
How
lucky with
did you
that
come up
name.
with that name? Because now I was like, wait a minute, we never talked about
Yes,
this.
I got
Yes.
lucky with that name,
Okay.
not using the word baby or, just something a little
Yes.
bit more general. So when I was pregnant with Amelia, the first thing I did when I found out I was pregnant was, besides call my husband, I downloaded one of those pregnancy apps and I
Okay.
put in like the date of my last cycle, blah, blah, blah. And she was the size of a poppy seed. And I'm from California, and our state flower is the poppy.
Yes.
And so I remember sitting in my living room once we were like really starting to think about Poppy List with my mom and my husband. We were like whiteboarding all of these names. And Poppy List just always stuck. Like we had so many other contenders, but because she was a poppy seed
Mm.
when I first found out I was pregnant with her, and then for all the obvious reasons, that's how the name came to
I
be.
I love
Yeah.
it. And it's such a name that can hold multiple lists.
Totally.
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So then let's talk about perfect segue into what's next. And then the last question we'll wrap up with is, because this podcast is called Reclaim,
Mhm.
what are you helping your customers reclaim? So what's next for Populous and then reclaiming?
Awesome. Okay,
Yeah.
so what's next for Poppylist? I see a world where there is a media element to Poppylist, where there is the podcasts and the webinars
Mm.
and the short form videos where we are helping people with every stage of their parenthood journey,
Mm.
really from trying to conceive to when the baby is born. And that would be like our window. And that could be, how do I identify the right prenatal for me and postnatal vitamin, all the way up
Mm.
to like, should breastfeeding hurt? I want to be able to create content for people to, like I said, prepare a little bit better for parenthood.
Got it.
And we've tested all of these platforms, and there is such a need, and people are looking for a trusted source to consume information from. So I would love to be that for them,
Well,
just in a bigger capacity.
sure.
So I dream about sort of like this media side of Poppylist.
Okay.
But then there is such a beautiful like community happening on the side, like in Reddit or our Instagram, we just hosted our first Registry Day out event in LA over the weekend, and I don't think community, one, it will never be replaced by AI.
Okay. I
And,
agree.
when you're, becoming a mom or dad, like, the the thing that keeps people alive and supported
Yeah.
and, thriving is their community. It is their village. It is their people. And so imagine using Poppylist. Destiny, let's say you are using your Poppylist baby registry. You're here in Austin, and in the app, there is a community platform where it says, "Hey, Destiny, there's 11 moms within a 10-mile radius who have due dates around the same time as you. Do you want to be connected to them?" I'm
Yes.
not saying you guys have to go meet up and go to the park,
Yes.
but how cool to be able to chat with these people who are in the very similar life stage as you, and you guys can talk about what you're experiencing. What products are you guys registering for? Can you see each other's baby registries? Maybe we also connect you with a mom that came before you a year ago,
Love that.
and she can tell you, "Oh, I'm also in Austin. Do you like to hike? I totally recommend adding this carrier or this stroller for Town Lake."
Yes.
Like, I just
Yes.
imagine us being able to cultivate this really unique platform where people can engage with each other in a safe, empowering way. So I'd love
Love
to
that.
see this community evolve for Poppylist, and then just the registry continue to evolve and innovate and be what it is, but better.
Yeah.
So,
I love that. And there's such a thread between being a trusted source,
mhm,
both from a information, education, product, and then community between the moms and them creating trust there.
mhm.
I mean, I can see that.
Yes, thank you. Thank
Wow.
you. And then
Reclaim.
what do I hope
Yeah.
to allow people to reclaim for themselves or their families? When Amelia was born, I did not like experience joy the first 6 months of motherhood. I was so afraid, and I did not feel like it was for me. Like I said, I was the first of my sisters and friends to have a baby,
Yeah.
and all of it was overwhelming and scary. And so I don't know, for some reason, the word joy came to mind first. Like, I would
Mm,
like for these moms and dads to reclaim a sense of joy around parenthood
mm,
where they feel confident in who they are,
yeah.
the things they have for themselves and the baby,
Yeah.
and allow themselves to be happy and
Yeah.
joyful with this new baby because they were supported
Yeah.
in a myriad of ways. So, hopefully that makes sense. And yeah,
Yes.
the first word that came to mind for me was, I hope I can help these parents reclaim some joy.
I mean, I can totally get that. I mean,
Okay.
especially first time parents, we're so
Yes. I
overwhelmed.
know.
And there's so much joy in the being that you just gave birth to
Right.
and just received. But then there's a whole state of overwhelm that
Right.
wraps around it.
Right.
And then to your point, then our own identity. And it's like,
Right.
what are we doing?
Right.
So 100% that makes
Yes.
sense.
So joy. I'm going with joy.
Oh, I love that. Well,
Thank you.
thank you, Sarah. I
Thank you.
love this conversation.
Likewise.
And it's been so incredible to be able to go deeper in with you.
Yeah. Thank you so much for the opportunity to share.
Yeah.